Hi everyone. When it comes to improvising and composing, a lot hinges on your chord knowledge and what to do over those chords. All the different options can seem overwhelming, but did you know the vast majority of music can be played over just 6 chord types? Here are those chord types. You'll notice that not every chord type is here, however the missing ones are usually an extension or derivation of these. So we've got major 7, minor 7, dominant 7, altered dominants, minor 7 flat 5 and diminished 7 chords. Over a major 7 chord, our main choices are Ionian and Lydian. Now Ionian, also called major, is used when a chord behaves as the first chord in a key. So Ionian is the first mode of the major scale, it is the major scale, and so we use it when a chord behaves as a 1 chord. What I mean is if we're in, say, the key of C, our first chord is a C or a C major 7, then we've got D minor or D minor 7, E minor or E minor 7, F or F major 7, G or G7, A minor or A minor 7, B diminished, which we don't play very often, we tend to play the extension, which is B minor 7 flat 5, and back to C or C major 7. And they are 1 chord, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to the 1 chord. So when that 1 chord is behaving as the key center, then we use the 1 mode over it. So how do we know when a major 7 chord is behaving as the first chord, in which case we'd use major, or is it acting as a 4 chord, in which case we would use Lydian? Okay, well first of all you can kind of do it by ear. If the progression sounds light and fluffy, like this is normally Lydian. If it sounds a bit more predictable, it's normally major. But there are some other clues, some giveaways. For example, if ever you see 2 major chords next to each other, they must be a 4 and a 5 chord. So if I see this 4 chord, 5 chord, that has to be a 4 and a 5 because it's 2 majors next to each other. Then I resolve on this, this must be the 1 chord, 4, 5, 1. However, if I have 2 major chords next to each other, 4 and a 5, and the 4 chord is behaving like my kind of resolving chord, my home chord, then I need the 4th mode, I need Lydian. Here's an example. Let's say I've got an A, and then a B over an A bass note. Actually, I could play it like this. A, and then a B with an open A string. You can even hear that's Lydian. It's got the light, fluffy Lydian sound to it. Let's have a listen to the difference. This is what A major sounds like. Very predictable. Okay, this is what Lydian sounds like. Okay, it's a bit lighter and fluffier. Now let's look at minor 7 chords. A minor 7 chord can have the Dorian scale played over it, or Aeolian, also called natural minor, or Phrygian. Phrygian's less common, so we'll spend less time on it. Dorian is the 2nd mode of the major scale, so we use it when a chord is behaving as a 2 chord. Aeolian, or natural minor, is the 6th mode of the major scale, and so we use it when a minor 7 chord is behaving as a 6 chord. Couple of giveaways. If ever you see a minor chord going up a 4th to a major chord, that's a kind of Dorian-ism, for want of a better word. And you can hear that Dorian lift. So this is the difference. If I play a straight minor chord, here's what natural minor sounds like. It's very dark, it's minor 6. Here's Dorian with its major 6. It's a slight lift. Over a dominant 7 chord, we've got the choices of mixed Lydian, Lydian flat 7, and Phrygian dominant. Mixed Lydian is the most common one. Mixed Lydian is the 5th mode in the major scale. So we would use it over the 5th chord. Now dominant 7 chords usually are behaving as a 5 chord. Okay, let's see what it sounds like. If I play an A7 chord, you'll notice that A major does not work. This note here clashes, this major 7, I need a minor 7, which is how we make a mixed Lydian scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And again there. Now when would we use Lydian flat 7? Well, Lydian flat 7, as the name implies, is like a Lydian scale with its sharp 4, but it's also got a flat 7, and that's why we can use it over dominant 7 chords. The flat 7 is there underneath my bar. The best time to use Lydian flat 7 is, say, in a 12 bar. Let's say you're in the key of A. You're playing an A7 chord. Now when you go to the next chord, known as the 4 chord, D7, because it's a dominant 7 chord, we can use a scale with a minor 7, like mixed Lydian, but Lydian flat 7 is even better. And the reason is, Lydian flat 7 has our minor 7, but it's also got the Lydianism, which is the sharp 4, and this chord is kind of behaving a bit like a 4 chord if we're in the key of A. Okay, so we get this sound. One last example we can use over a dominant 7 chord is Phrygian dominant. Now this one is used less in kind of upbeat major keys, but it's normally something you might use if you're playing a dominant 7 chord that's going up a fourth to a minor chord. Have a listen to this. Now in classical music, this is used all the time. This kind of resolving minor 5-1 as it's called. So whenever you see a dominant 7 chord, or even just a major triad going up a fourth to a minor chord, it's a minor 5-1, and it's got that classical sound. And when you see that or hear that classical sound, you'll find that mixed Lydian doesn't sound so good. You'll find this Phrygian dominant sounds better. And let's see what it sounds like. Overall, to dominant chords, we can use Superlocrian, the half-whole diminished scale, and Phrygian dominant. Now, Superlocrian is kind of my go-to over an altered dominant. It's great because it contains the alterations that we have in altered dominant chords. I've done videos all about this, but if you're not familiar, an altered dominant chord is simply where you take a dominant 7 chord, like say a B7 here, and you alter the 5th or the 9th. Okay, now there's 2 5s here. There's one here and there's one under my bar. I don't want to alter both of them, so I'm going to sacrifice this one, and I'm going to mess around with this 5 under the bar. I could sharpen it like this, so that's B7 sharp 5, or I could flatten it like this. I could even do a B7 flat 9, or a B7 sharp 9, and I can play Superlocrian over the top of those chords. The half-whole diminished scale also works over altered dominants, and as the name implies, it's a series of half and whole steps that looks like this. We could also play the Phrygian dominant scale, which we talked about a second ago. That works over this as well, especially if you've got a flat 9. It's a really nice sounding scale. Over minor 7 flat 5 chords, we can use Locrian, Aeolian flat 5, or Locrian natural 6. So a minor 7 flat 5 chord looks like this, and it's quite often played in a minor 2-5-1, like this. That was B minor 7 flat 5, E7 flat 9, A minor 7. Any 3 of these scales, Locrian, Aeolian flat 5, Locrian natural 6, will sound good over that. I particularly like Locrian natural 6 because it happens to be the same notes as, well in this case, B Locrian natural 6 will be exactly the same notes as E Phrygian dominant, okay? Both of which are modes of the harmonic minor scale. Let's see what that sounds like. B minor 7 flat 5, E7 flat 9, A minor 7. I could just play A harmonic minor and that would give me Locrian natural 6, Phrygian dominant. But finally, over a diminished 7 chord, we can use the diminished scale, which is a series of half and whole steps that looks like this. Or we can use Superlocrian natural 6, also known as mode 7 of harmonic minor. It's a bit of a weird one, it sounds a bit weird, it's difficult to use, so I tend to just stick to the diminished scale in this situation. All of this knowledge and more is available in my new book, Music Theory and Application for Guitarists, which you can find a link for in the description. I hope this video was useful to you. If so, please click like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.